morning, guys. Welcome again back by the Connected Community, and today we're with Gabby.
Hello.
And Gabby, tell us a little bit, who are you, what are you doing here in Bali?
So my name is Gabby Francis and I'm a life purpose and trauma healing coach and mentor. I usually work one-on-one with women all over the world really, and I've been in Bali for just over a year now.
And how does it feel living and working in Bali?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, the lifestyle is great here because I came from London and was doing the 9 to 5 and was very full on hustle mindset all the time, and yeah, being here is totally different because everything's a lot slower paced. I mean, you can still definitely be in that like hustle mindset, but I like the lifestyle here compared to what I was doing before.
So what do you like about the lifestyle here in Bali compared to back home?
I feel like everything's a lot cheaper, definitely.
That's for sure. Bali's pretty cheap.
It is, and the luxuries as well, like everything's cheap. Like I go to the spa like every day, like massages are like $5 and...
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like in the Netherlands you pay like 50 euros for an hour massage.
I know.
It would not even be this good.
I know, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And the food here is insane. I eat out all the time. I love the fact that, especially in Canggu as well, there's just a hub of like creative, inspiring people.
Yeah.
And compared to like when I was living back in London, I feel like everyone's kind of doing their thing, complaining, like tunnel vision for just, I don't know, just not feeling that happy. Whereas out here, you're around people. I don't know if it's just because my mindset's changed now, but you're around people that like are really wanting to do better and like really inspire you, and so you become that person as well.
Yeah, I have the feeling as well, like in Bali, like people are so open-minded and adapting and tapping into who they really are. Well, back in, for example, the Netherlands, people are like trying to climb up that ladder. Like if I do this, well, I'm successful, and they reach that ladder and they go up, and they're never happy. Like a lot of people, though, not everybody, but definitely true. And why did you decide to become a coach?
So it's a bit of a long story. I'll try and keep it short. So back in 2016, I came to Bali for the first time, and just on holiday with my sister, and especially in Canggu, I was like, oh my god, like I really want to live here.
Yeah.
But I just had no idea how I would do it, and I was just like, okay, I'm in the 9 to 5, like how do I get out of that? Like how do maybe I should start a blog, or like how do I create something online? And I didn't really have any idea. And then I got home, and basically at the start of 2017, when I got back in January, some crazy shit happened basically, and I was basically arrested and falsely accused of attempted murder. And
what?
And this went on for over a year of my life. And
that's insane.
Yeah, it was wild. I still can't even really believe that happened.
Yeah.
Feels like a completely different lifetime. But from when that happened, like I've never suffered with any mental health issues before, and I've always been like the strong one out of like my friendship group, out of my family, and this was the first time anything had happened to me in my life where like I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And because they were, you know, the police are telling you that you've done this, it all came out in the end that I'd actually been like framed by corrupt police and the victim's family.
Well, and this was in London.
Yeah, this was in London.
So you got harassed and then arrested.
Yeah, so I was arrested in the morning at the start of January. They took me down to the station, locked me in a cell, told me that these were attempted murder charges, and like I had no idea what they were on about. And then I was just like released on bail, and this went on and on and on, and then I was charged with the crime, told I was going to trial.
So what situation happened?
It's a really, I'm not going to go into details about that, because this is actually still going on for me and my family.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know legally what I can and can't say right now. But because all of that happened, like I was really battling with my mind. Like I would go back and forth. When the police are telling me one thing, it's like these people are an authority figure, and you end up almost believing them. And although like I knew I didn't do it, I knew I wasn't there, and I never even saw anything weird happen that night. you start to question yourself. And I really started to lose my mind a bit, and like I had extreme insomnia, I was getting extreme panic attacks all the time, depression, anxiety, and it got around like the 6-month mark, and I had like the biggest of all breakdowns, and it was kind of a combination of everything. I've been like trying to like numb and get on with my life as much as I could, but I was drinking a lot, like dabbling with drugs, and
try to push it away.
Yeah, for sure. And then all in like the space of like a week, I was charged with the crime. And this guy that I'd met that I really, really liked, and it all happened really intensely within like a month, he then turned around and was like, no, like I'm not ready to commit. And then at my job as well, even though they were so supportive throughout the whole thing, they basically said to me, look, like we're running a business and these are sales targets that you're not hitting. So I was trying to show up for work, but my head wasn't there. Like, it just wasn't there. And so I had all these things happen at the same time, and I literally had the biggest breakdown. And then from there, I like took a week off work and I went back to see my family. And yeah, that's when I had this epiphany of like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let this break me. Like, this is happening for a reason. This is crazy. Yeah. This is so fucked up. And I never expected this to happen, you know, to me in my life. So it's happening for a reason, and I have to kind of make the most of it. And then from there, I had this epiphany of like, I should do something with this and help other people. And then I thought I could become a coach. And so I started looking into different diplomas and universities, and I found one to do whilst I was still working, and it was like an intensive 6 months, and I would go every weekend and do that. And so that's really the basis of why I decided to become a coach.
That's intense. That's a very, very like story. Like, how did that, because you sound so positive about it, like, okay, like I need to make a change, and like that's such a positive attitude. Did you always have that positive attitude, or what did it take for you to have that?
So definitely not all the time. Like, things were really dark for quite a while. It seemed like a long time. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't a long time at all, and I feel like I have been able to bounce back so easily. I think in terms of like the work that I've got into, and since the age of like 18, I was always interested in self-development, and like The Secret was the first book that I read.
Oh yeah,
like,
me too. The video of The Secret is crazy. Yeah. Now everybody has seen it, but like I read it and I saw it like straight in the beginning. Yeah.
And that was the first thing that kind of opened my eyes to that, and then slowly I just started to get more and more into it. And as part of, like, I was very clear on my mind, like I was going to the doctors because my parents were like, you need some help. Yeah. But they would just give me pills, and I was just like, I don't want to take pills. Like, I don't just want to numb myself even more, because at the start when it happened and I couldn't sleep, I took quite a few strong sleeping pills, and then even they stopped working after like a week, and I was like, I cannot get any more extreme than this. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I think that I can heal this with my mind. Like, my mind's a very powerful tool. And so I started to get into meditation and much deeper into spirituality, and just having that mindset and doing my diploma, that was like literally therapy for me. Being out in Bali, like when I moved out here eventually in March 2018, I kind of was like tunnel vision for my business initially, but I knew that I was in Bali to heal. Yeah. And I wasn't really focusing on that. And then it took me like, I had a really serious bike scooter accident, like a month and a half after I moved here. I couldn't walk for a month, and it just, I know that was the universe being like throwing me into healing, being like, come on, you came out here to heal, like sort your shit out. And so from there, like, I really delved into the like healing all of that kind of court and police and arrest stuff. And I honestly like don't have like any hate towards the person like who accused me or anything like that. I think where I still need to work on like forgiveness is the police, because I really don't trust the police at all now. But I think I look at my life now and I just think of it as a blessing. Like, honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because there's no way I'd be living in Bali with my own business, doing something that I love, that I'm passionate about every day, if that hadn't happened. I would still be in London doing the 9 to 5, not knowing what to do with my life. And that's why I'm like, I can't be upset or angry about that, because it's honestly the best thing that happened to me. It was painful and so dark at the time.
Yeah.
But everything has a purpose.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you say that. And it's like in the darkest places sometimes, like the biggest changes grow, right?
Totally.
It's like, it's so beautiful. And I saw the picture of you on Instagram laying on the bed with all your injuries. Was that the...
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so harsh. And I had the same thing. I broke my Achilles twice. I had a bike accident here in Bali.
Yeah.
The universe definitely telling me, I believe this so much now.
I know.
You go too fast, or I was either running in the wrong direction, and I was moving too fast, doing too much stuff at the same time, and didn't listen to any signs of my body, right?
Yeah.
So the universe was like, you know what? You don't want to listen? You just make sure you cannot walk for 2 months. And that's what happened.
Exactly.
And then you're in bed laying and like, got my laptop stolen, so I couldn't get distraction as well. So the universe was like, no, you need to heal. You need to stop right here and take care of yourself. Yeah.
Everything's a mirror. But I really do feel like breakdowns lead to those breakthroughs.
Exactly. Beautiful. And you coach women on, so we just were talking before this interview a little bit about it, because it was so interesting, about coaching on the cycle of women.
Yes. So something that really helped me with my own healing, like I've done so much different kind of healing. Like there's never just one thing to like heal your trauma. I've literally done everything, but one of the things that really reconnected me back to my body and myself, because I feel like you really do lose yourself when you experience a lot of trauma. And the thing that really connected me back to my body was really connecting with my menstrual cycle. And I learned so much about that. And the reason why is because when we experience a lot of trauma in our life, our nervous system becomes completely dysregulated. And you can't really process emotions normally. So a way to holistically and naturally regulate your nervous system again is, for a woman, the most powerful way to do this is to connect with your menstrual cycle. Because we're so connected to nature, and I think we forget this. Like I was saying to you before, like our cycle is 28 days, the moon's cycle is 28 days.
How crazy is that,
I know.
Actually?
I know. And there's all these, so there's different phases that you have in your cycle. So your period is your winter, then it goes to spring, summer, autumn, and like back to winter again. And each one has different energies that you need to utilize, because I think in everyday life, for people like back home who like aren't in Bali, it's very hustle mindset, the do, go all the time. And that would be like your spring, summer, because that's where you've got a lot of energy. You literally feel like Superwoman sometimes when you're in those phases of your cycle. But then you have to have the polarity, and you have to have that inward time. You have to slow down and say no, and just take some time for you. And that's what we forget. It's half and half.
So that's the autumn winter side that we just sometimes just want to skip.
Yeah, totally. And really learning how to slow down and work with your cycle and utilize it's so powerful. Like I can't even explain. Like this is just how I live my life now. Like I plan my diary, all my social events, like all my work stuff, all around my cycle. Like springtime is the most creative and playful time. So if I really want to start creating things for my business, I'll set out some time aside to do that. Whereas like my autumn phase, I'm in my autumn right now. It can be the toughest. It's your premenstrual, when you're coming into your period.
Okay.
It's when your inner critic comes up a lot, and it's when we can just be really hard on ourselves, but it's to remind ourselves that you have to have compassion. But it's great for tying up loose ends and just finishing projects off and stuff like that before you then go into winter, which is like say no to everything. It's literally you time then.
So is winter the time you menstruate?
Yes.
So can you tell me about those? So winter is menstruate. What is the rest of the seasons?
So winter is when you're menstruating. It's actually our most spiritual time as well. Time when we can like really connect with the universe, source, whatever we believe.
Yeah.
And it's just the time, however you treat your menstrual cycle and your winter time is literally how the rest of your cycle is going to go.
Okay.
So you really have to honor it. Like
so winter is most important cycle, guys.
Okay. Yeah, you have to honor that. And then going into spring is your pre-ovulation time. So this is when you still need to pace yourself because you're not in summer yet, but you're getting a lot of energy back. And this is where people who have suffered a lot of trauma, I always tell them to be careful in this time, because it can be quite triggering to the nervous system, because you're gaining energy again. So your body can think, oh, it's going into fight or flight again. So it's just really going slow in spring and pacing yourself and having a lot of compassion. And not, because when you come out of your period, it's like, okay, I've been doing nothing for the past like 5 days. I wanted, like, I've got a huge list of things to do.
Dive into it.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to really pace it. Otherwise, you'll completely burn out. And then you'll have no energy left for summer. Summer is when you're ovulating. It's when we just want to be really social. Sometimes we can lose sight of our own needs because we're so outwardly focused in summer. And it's really to utilize that energy for both work and play. So you can really get into a flow state with your work there. It's really, I love, like lately for the past few months, like I've been using that energy to work loads, and I haven't been playing as much, and I noticed it when it came out a few weeks ago, so I really used that time to play, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, it's good to be aware of these kind of states, and actually it makes sense to me when I hear this is the first time I hear it, guys, but like when you're in spring, like all the little birds come, so you're coming alive again, and you want to do stuff, and you create new bubbles probably also in your body, so you have to be careful in what you're creating as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's so beautiful.
For sure. And then you go into autumn, which is the premenstrual phase, and that's, we can get really moody around autumn, and a lot of our shadow stuff is brought to the surface. So again, it's just compassion. Compassion is literally number one with everything, because otherwise you can just you can disconnect from yourself, and just having the awareness of it and what's actually going on really just helps flow with everyday life, I guess.
Do you notice with your clients that there are a lot of them really disconnected with themselves and with nature? Is it more disconnected with nature, or like what's what you see with connection?
I think it's both. I think if they're not really connected with themselves, they can't really connect outwardly, because everything's a mirror. So I think when people come to want to work with me, they will be feeling lost and confused in who they are. Maybe they've suffered, maybe they think they haven't suffered any trauma, or maybe they have, but it always comes down to trauma, because everyone, I think you can kind of push things down a lot and just be like, no, I'm fine, like this thing happened years ago, but I'm getting on with my life fine.
I deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. But it always comes up in everything. Like, I have 2 different programs that I do. One is Finding Your Truth, and the other is Shiro's, the Trauma Transformation. And a lot of people come into the Finding Your Truth because they don't think that they have like a big enough trauma. But I always take stuff from my other program into that, because so many traumatic events always come up in that. When you're really digging to the surface of like the core of who you are and why your behavior is how it is, it always comes up.
That's very interesting, isn't it? Because it's also what I learned these days, but the small things can be such a big impact, and we don't know it. We'd be like, oh, it's such a small thing that happened like in 4th grade or whatever. It's like, it's not a big thing, but that little thing can be the thing that is haunting or ghosting you through your life, right? So it's so beautiful that you're helping those people with those the trauma. And also, how did you get into like to knowing all this about the cycle and that it's so important?
It was just curiosity and intuition that kind of led me to it. My best friend Megan, who actually lives next door, she I think she introduced me to it first, because she works a lot around like hormones, and she cured herself from PCOS, and so she didn't have a period for ages. So I think it was like the excitement through that, and I always wanted to learn more about it. And when I did, it was just like something just clicked in me. I was just like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, I need to share this. I need to speak to women, teach women about this, because it helped me so much.
That's beautiful. And you notice it nowadays, definitely in Western cultures, at least some of my friends, people I know, they either don't have a period or they have problems getting pregnant, which is also related to your menstruation and your cycle, right?
For sure.
What do you think is the main cause of that?
I mean, it can be various different things. Like, diet is huge. Like, I've completely transformed my health whilst I've been out in Bali. Like, really acknowledging it all starts with your body first. And I think we can really disregard that, especially with trauma. Like, we think it's a mental thing, but actually it starts with the body, and you store everything in your body, and food is medicine. And so food is a big thing. and also your lifestyle, like stress. Stress can be one of the biggest things for like disease, cancer, all of that. And if you're constantly in that go, go, go mentality and you're not slowing down, you're not having any time for yourself and your nervous system to like regulate, then you're going to make yourself ill.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I have been facing that. I've been sick lately a lot. So I've been facing this problem because I'm stressed easily and a lot. So how do you cope with stress? What do you do when you feel stress coming up in your body?
So I work a lot around values with my clients, and values are really important to me. Like that's how I stay in alignment. Like I've literally got.
I saw that. I'll show you guys later. She has all set up. If I can show.
Yeah.
Like her morning routine, her values, like evening routine, which is so important, guys. Structurize your days, and like if you want to make a change.
Yeah, totally. I feel like when I'm feeling stressed, I always check in with my values, and I'll be like, okay, what am I out of alignment with and what's not right here? And then I will also, like I do this thing that I've shared on Instagram quite a lot called the Light Me Up list, and I always tell my clients to do this, and it's to write a list of like 25 to 30 things that like make you feel good and light you up. And I'll check in with that. Like last week I came into my autumn phase of my cycle really heavy, and for the first time in so long, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety. And my first thing was like, okay, like I've got the awareness, I've got really strong foundations with my structures and routines. Like I need to take care of myself with this. So I meditated, like I journaled and reflected on how I've been feeling. Like I spoke to friends, went to the beach and got into nature, and because doing stuff that really brings me back to the present moment, that really helps me.
Yeah.
And allowing myself to feel it as well. That's what I didn't initially do, and I realized I distracted myself so much with what I thought I was supposed to do. And then I was like, I haven't truly allowed myself to feel this yet. So I came back and I just really just sat with it, and I breathed through it, and I just allowed myself to feel it. And it's actually just not making a judgment around it. I feel
making it worse if you like judge yourself by feeling bad and feeling stressed. It's like, it's gonna be so big.
Yeah, all emotions that we experience, we should process the same. Like there's no, we put like negative connotations on like stress and fear and anxiety, worry and all of that. Like we shouldn't be feeling it. But it's literally the same as all the other positive emotions. And it should pass through us exactly the same. And where we don't allow ourselves to feel it because we don't want to feel it, then it stays stuck within our body, and that's what manifests like disease and stuff like that. So you really have to allow yourself to feel it. Compassion, like that's one of my values.
So can you tell us your top 3 values?
My top 3. Okay, so when I say my top 3, authenticity for sure, service and connection.
And how do you bring those in your life?
So service, it's literally what I do as my career, and I'm here to serve and to support, and as long as I'm doing that, then I feel like I'm in purpose. Connection to myself through my cycles, connection to others, connection to source, the universe, like spiritually connected, like that encompasses that for me. And then authenticity, just really speaking my truth. And I feel like that's why I get a lot of engagement on my Instagram and stuff like that, because I'm always just very honest and open, and I think people can connect with that. I think if you're not being authentic, especially online, people can see through that now. And I pride myself on being really authentic, like having the difficult conversations and honoring myself as well when I need to, and having boundaries in play. And that's really, really helped me keep a solid foundation, I think.
Well, nowadays on Instagram, we're all like seeing the outside, right, and not seeing the inside of people and their stories that they have to tell, and they're so important. And if people relate with you, like if you tell your story, people can connect, and that's so important. Sometimes when I watch her Instagram, she's like dancing after a client call, and like that's amazing, guys. That's what we connect with, and like people feel so connected, not about the stories only about superficial things, but try to connect, try to talk about anxiety, try to talk about the things you're facing, and you'll see, which is so beautiful, how people can relate with you or like have the same things, and they all open up. And if everybody opens up, like I think that's the most beautiful thing that happens. Like
totally.
That's most beautiful. And it's so interesting to see that showing up, like if showing up as your true self, how important that is. For me, it's like it's really still like I'm still learning and trying to see how I can show up and show others my true self. So how did you start showing up as your true self? How you knew this is who I am? How did you tap in?
I think through a lot of the healing process. I don't know, I realized a lot about myself when I dived like deep into my trauma, because I thought it was initially just like 2017, the whole police and arrest thing I had to heal. But through going into that, I uncovered so much more trauma from my past that I literally just put in a box. And yeah, I realized that when I started to kind of lose who I was a bit was when my first like big trauma happened to me in my life when I was like around 13. And yeah, like 12, 13. And then from there, during this healing, I've really come back into myself because I've been very aware of the stuff that I've hidden away, what makes me feel scared, and I've had to be vulnerable and step into that. And it comes down to vulnerability massively.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning that for sure. I think it's very easy for me to be completely open and authentic and myself online with friends, family, clients. Where I still struggle is men. Romantically.
Oh, interesting.
Because I still have stuff around men that I need to heal, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's where I notice, like, I notice myself holding back and I'm not totally myself and authentic. But it's just a journey and it's a process and it's a learning curve, for sure.
So what kind of advice could you give, like if you feel like you're not showing up as the real you and you notice it, what kind of like tip or trick can you give?
Feel when you feel uncomfortable, I notice which part of your body that shows up in, like which part, like is it in your heart, is it in your throat? And a lot of the time it can be in your throat because your throat is linked to communication and really not speaking your truth.
Yeah.
And noticing that and then checking in with your values and being like, okay, how am I not being authentic right now? Like what am I not in alignment with that doesn't feel right to me? And then decide to make some kind of action on that. And just reflect on it. And like before when I was doing a lot of this work last year, I would like keep a diary of like all the things that I felt pulled me out of alignment. And I'd be like, okay, this person looked at me like this today and I felt this and it triggered this. And just becoming really self-aware of the stuff that triggers you.
Yeah.
Because then you can ask yourself why, you can understand why, and then you can really honor yourself by like speaking up or acting in a different way, and then doing it through little steps like that, I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And also what I realized like last year, and only last year, but is that the things you see, like for example, oh, the person is looking at me this kind of way, it's a reflection, it's still the mirror you're looking at. It has nothing to do with the person or how they look at, that's their shit, but like how you perceive it has everything to do with you. So writing it down and be like, oh, why did I feel like that when the person looked at me? It was not the person, it was something inside me that triggered it. And that's such a beautiful lesson I learned like only the last year, but it's like, oh, it's all about me. It's my movie that I'm playing out. It's not theirs, it's mine, and I write the script. I write, oh, if someone looks like that, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I can change that, and I'm the only one who can change, and that's such a beautiful power if you know that.
Yeah, totally. I agree completely.
So how do you keep a healthy lifestyle? Like you eat healthy, you have like an amazing lifestyle here in Bali. What are 2 other things that are very important in your healthy lifestyle?
So healthy lifestyle comes down to me staying connected with my cycle, the food that I'm putting into my body, exercising, that's a huge thing for me. Like after my accident with my bike, I couldn't exercise for like 7 months. And that was,
it's
horrible. It's so
if you're a
horrible.
workout person and you cannot work out, you get frustrated. You get tested on depression, you got tested on your mind, your monkey mind, and you are in bed for like, you can't get it out.
Totally. And then when I started training again, I trained far too hard, created myself a knee injury and a shoulder injury straight away. So then I haven't been able to train again for ages. Only in the last like 2 months, I've slowly been working my way up. Like I started with swimming, then really light body weight, like nothing heavy. And now I'm at the stage like where I can like work out properly again, still being quite delicate with my knee, but yeah, exercise is so important because you have to move your body. This is why I dance all the time, because like I said, like it all starts with your body,
and it connects with your true self, right?
Definitely. And you have to shift that static energy round, and this is why it all starts with your body. So exercise, food, your cycle, meditation for sure. Like I meditate every single morning without fail.
How long do you meditate for?
Honestly, it kind of depends. At the moment, I'm at like 20 minutes on average.
20 minutes a day?
Yeah. I would say 20 minutes a day in terms of meditation, but then I'm always trying to be mindful of what I'm doing anyway.
During the day.
Yeah, and just reminding myself to come back to the present moment, whether that's with like journaling or being out in nature. Like these are all like different branches of meditation. It's just being mindful every day, and it has the same effect. So yeah, meditation as well, and journaling. Like I make sure, not specifically every single day, but I try and journal when I can, which is like maybe 5 out of 7 days a week. And I will always write at the top, like I am day like 10 of my cycle, because then I can go through and I can talk about like how I'm feeling, and then it always links back, and you can have way more understanding of who you are, where you're at, and what you need as well. Those are the things that I would say for sure.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. I end this interview always with one last question, and that is, if you had to tell someone what you learned about life, about living good, what would it be?
About living good?
Yes.
So like my advice on life, to like have a good life?
Yeah. There's one thing you learned about living a good life, what would it be? If you can share one thing.
I would say surrender and stop resisting, and trust that everything is happening for a reason. Because if you have that mindset, you're going to see everything with a different perspective. Instead of thinking, oh, things are happening to me all the time, believing that everything's happening for a reason, everything is happening for me. And then you can see the beauty in everything, because then you just trust. And just having that mindset and just surrendering to that has definitely helped me live a really good life ever since.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
It was so good having this interview with you.
It was so fun. Thank you.
I will definitely, I'm going to talk more about this cycle thing because I really want to know it. And I will show you guys her morning routine, night routine, and her values. It's so important, guys. Get your values straight. Get a morning routine. Get a night routine. If you have any questions, comment down below. Where can they find you?
So I've got my Instagram, which is Gabby Francis Coach. That's the main thing that I would say. And then I have my website, which is gabriellefrancis.com.
Yes, I will put it all down in the description. You can subscribe if you want to follow more of these videos and get connected with the Connected community. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.